and welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year to you. As I record this, we are heading into a bright, shiny new year, and I hope that your holidays were good and that you're ready to progress on into the new year. And for some of us, it can be a tough time. You know, we're a little exhausted from the holidays. That could be a piece of it. A little sadness if family was in town and you're missing them, or just whatever. We all come from a lot of different places at this point of the year. I hope that you've had a chance to look at your plans for the year and think about what it is you want in your life, and hopefully some new learning in your life is part of it. And what I want to share with you today is what I hope to bring you in the year ahead. And as you will see, I'm in my front sunroom, which is a lovely room where I get a lot of southern light and eastern and north. Don't get any western light in this room, but the 3 walls of this sunroom that we added to our home about 5 or 6 years ago really made a huge difference in the indoor gardening that I could do. And so there's 3 elements that I feel are so important in gardening, right? They're basics. It's sunshine, and it's water, and it's dirt. Like, you need those 3 elements, without a doubt, just to begin with. And what I want to share in the year ahead in this channel is how to take that and look at it in a way that sunshine also could be the equivalent of joy, that water could be the equivalent of flow, like what is flowing in your life. And then dirt is really your mindset, and it's that foundational piece to you. And what I have found with plants is that whether they're indoors or outdoors, in my quest to garden over the last 40 years, has been because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good when I can watch I'm watching a squirrel outside my window right now run around. It makes me feel good when I can watch a seedling come out of the ground. It makes me feel good when a beautiful flower that I hadn't expected blooms. I mean, there's so many pieces to it. Excuse me. We'll edit that out, please. And I've been reading this book. It's called The Well-Gardened Mind by Sue Stuart-Smith, and it talks about the psychology of gardening and our mind. And with that comes this whole idea of you don't have to be an expert gardener. You don't have to know the names of all the plants, because quite honestly, I forget on a pretty regular basis. It comes back to me from time to time. I don't know the Latin names at all, but I know how the plants make me feel. And that's really what I want to be sharing with you. And during some downtimes for me, because we all have it, and I shared in a YouTube live that I did last week, which we'll put a link here to that YouTube live. I talked about like planning for the year ahead and what to do to plan for your year ahead. And really one of the first elements that I asked a series of questions, and one of them is, where's your happiness level? Are you from 1 to 10, 10 being just off the charts, 1 being like nothing is making me happy right now? And we all have our ups and downs, right, through happiness. And the key is to be able to, when you're feeling down, to find the things that bring you up, and bring you up in a healthy, good, centered way, whether it's meditation in the morning, which I'm a huge proponent of, and you will hear me talking about that a lot here on this channel, but it's about plants. It's about watching this plant, which I put in with this plant, just really thriving. And it makes me so happy to see my Christmas cactus flower bloom again one more time this year. That's what makes me happy. And today, what I thought I would share with you is what also makes me happy is to go get a new plant. It's like, there's shopping therapy, and there's different things that you can do that you got to be careful. You can't let it take you out of control. And that's why it's better than, drugs or alcohol or any of that. But to have a plant make you feel good, It's just so great. So I have been wanting to get a fig plant, a fig tree. And my father, many years ago, had a fig orchard in his home. And I didn't appreciate figs then, because this is the truth of it. I just associated figs with fig Newtons, which I did not like. And so I was not a very big fan of it. Now, I don't want to get a fig plant necessarily to grow figs, though who knows, I'm going to be exploring it. But I thought I would take you with me on a little shopping spree. Well, I'm not going to use the word spree. I got to be careful. It's after the holidays. Got to watch that budget. And that's the other part of it, is being able to buy things within a budget and know how much I can and cannot spend, because I could, spend a lot, and probably it's better for my home if I don't, because I can only put so many plants, even with the addition of this room. That has been huge. So, because it gives me so much sunshine in this room. So let's go ahead. Let's take a little trip to our local garden center, and I am going to do some shopping for a new fig tree plant. Let's do it. And with that, I am heading out in my trusty little Fiat, which I call Fiocco, and knowing that this tree will be big, but I can always seem to squeeze things into Fiocco when I need to, especially when it's plants. So off I go to our local garden center, which is only about 10 minutes or so down the road. And one of the great things too that I love is that especially when it's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day here in Colorado. The mountain views on my drive are spectacular, and I can enjoy the journey, knowing that I actually achieved a goal this week that I really wanted to. So this is really my reward as well for achieving that goal. Arriving at the flower bin, which is our local garden center, I started to get a little swayed by some of the beautiful plants that were just awaiting me as I arrived. So I remembered this. Oh, look at that angel begonia. So beautiful. I remembered to stop, take a breath, and enjoy these plants that I knew I wouldn't be bringing home with me, even wondering why these plants are in a cage. Why is a plant in a cage? Maybe they just don't want people touching it. I don't know. But I walked through enjoying the many different varieties they had at the flower bin, and remembering that I was there to get what I learned it was called is a fiddle leaf fig. Never knew that. I just thought they were called figs. It's a fiddle leaf fig. There were many other plants there from the Ficus family, which I didn't realize how interrelated some of them were. Look at that beauty. I actually have one of those at home, but doesn't look that good. So another thing I love when I come to the garden center is to see if other plants are looking so much better than mine, what can I do to bring up its health back at home? And as I looked around, I even saw a cinnamon tree. A cinnamon tree? No, I don't think I need that. I got to keep walking to the fiddle leaf fig. Beyond, there's a banana tree. Nope, don't have room for that. That's for sure. A little bit too much room on that. Again, just looking through the different palms, looking for, because I knew before the holidays I had seen some in here, but now I was having a hard time finding them. More other types of ficuses, but not the fiddle leaf, until there it is. There is the fiddle leaf fig, and there wasn't a whole lot to choose from. Now, there was this one, which almost touched the ceiling of the greenhouse. It had to be 20 feet tall, I want to guess, but it was also about $800, way out of my budget. Wouldn't fit in my house, but it was sure beautiful. And it said a lot about how large these fiddle leaf ficuses can actually grow. So I came down to looking at it would be one of these two fiddle leaves that I would get. So I looked them over carefully. One was the one on the right was $69, the one on the left $79. Now I'm always out to get a deal, but look at the leaves on this. They seemed kind of burnt, and I just the overall health of it, was it worth an extra $10 to have a healthier plant? Look at the new growth on this one. So good. I opted to say yes, it was worth it. So I put the fig in my car and headed home and as I drove home, I was thinking about, because it was in a standard pot, I knew that I would have to repot it. And I was trying to think, what kind of pots do I have back at home, out in the back in the barn? So as I did that and got home, I loved this moment of just bringing the ficus fig into the house. The fiddle leaf ficus fig. Who thought of that? Okay, so it is the next day, and I ran out of time yesterday, and I knew it was going to be a beautiful day today, and it is. It's a beautiful blue sky Colorado day today, and so here's my fig tree plant, right? And I wanted to share with you a couple of things. One is this is really going to be an indoor plant. It can go in and out, but here in Colorado, it's not such a good idea. And what's interesting here in Colorado is that we are everything between zone 2A and 7B. And right here where we are outside of Boulder, Colorado, we are 6A and B. We're really close to being next to the B, because I think Boulder itself is 6B now with the new zone change. So here it is, this beautiful plant. Now, the question that I had, and maybe you do too, will I get figs out of it? And they say it's very unlikely, but if you do get figs off of it, they won't taste very good. So if you're thinking about getting one for the figs, forget about it. So as I shared with you yesterday, no worry about the fig Newtons. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we're going to plant this. And the main thing with it, I found this pot out in the barn, and so we're going to put it in here. I've got a tray for it. We put some holes into this pot and put some rocks in here. One of the things that is so awesome about having this Zen garden, and Ed, you might want to just pan it to show them this part of this is our front yard basically, and I can get a lot of rocks out of this yard. I love having this rock garden. My son is a rock balance artist, so he has helped us in this journey. But one of the things I really want to share, and I did in the part of this video that I did at the garden center, is that I wanted to find one, of course, a plant that's healthy. Now, for me to invest, this plant was $79, and that is quite an investment. And what I've shared on this channel before, I try to be as economically feasible as I can when I'm getting plants, because then I can get more, right? But here I have, I wanted to share with you, so it was $79, and the other one was $69, but this one looks so much healthier, and it's got these, and if you want to come up here and just bring a close up to the leaves, it's so much, look at the new growth that's coming in the top. I showed it a little bit previously at the garden center, but that really made the difference between the $69 plant and the $79 one. And so I knew I was getting close. This particular garden center has points, and I knew I was getting close to the points, so I actually I got a $25 reward that I can use in January, and they have this thing called Funny Money, and I got a couple of those. That was $10, so now I have $35 to spend on plants in January. All right, so what does this plant need? It needs to have good drainage. It needs to, when I put it inside, it needs to be out of direct sunlight. So here we have, this is the outside of the sunroom that I was showing you yesterday, and I'll put it in an eastern window versus the windows over to this side, which are southern exposure and get pretty hot. So it'll be much better there with indirect sunlight. It also talked about really cleaning the leaves, and I noticed that they were pretty dusty. They are right now, so that's one of the things I'll do. getting it together is to clean off the leaves. So with the cleaner leaves, the photosynthesis of the sun is able to get to the leaves better. And this plant has such gorgeous leaves. It's really what I wanted to have with it. So I'm going to put it into this pot. And I have a little bit of plantain. They didn't have any at the nursery. They talk about using a liquid fertilizer with this. And I, A, don't have any, and B, I really wanted organic, and the garden center that I went to didn't have any organic. Sometimes garden centers this time of year, here in Colorado anyway, are low on supplies just because it's that time of year. So I'm going to put a little bit in there, mix it up with the soil that I already have in the bottom, and then I'm going to go ahead and attempt to, this actually has 2 stems to it, and I'm going to go ahead and try to get this baby out of here. See how root bound it is. All right, here we go. I'm getting it. And one of the things in my research about checking out the plant was to see, let me see if you can come around to see the roots. They look really good. It doesn't look really root bound, and it's said to be really careful with the roots. So normally I might tickle the roots a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to do it at all because I want to be really careful with those roots. All right, so that is in there. So it fits in here nicely, and I just have some potting soil I'm going to put around the base of it. I normally wouldn't have necessarily gotten this big of a pot, but it's what I had available here, and I didn't want to make another investment in a pot right now too after spending $79 on this plant. But I think it'll be fine, and I will show you the finished result when I get this started. Coming back inside here now, it has been placed here for now, right next to my yoga mat, because we still have a Christmas tree upstairs, and I'm going to move more things around. And this, it's got some diffused light from the window that's over there. In the morning, it will get the eastern sun that comes through here, and I think it's beautiful. One of the things that, I can't remember if I said it or not, but I'm going to say it again now, is we did drill some holes into this pot to make sure that it had good drainage. Good drainage is super important. The rocks, as you saw, are in the saucer to help with that. And yeah, it's a really good spot for it for now, and then we'll move it up to the living room. These plants can actually grow to be 15 feet tall, like the ones I showed you from the garden center. And I've also learned in my investigation that you can cut them and propagate them, and I'm excited about that when the time is right. But for now, we're going to leave. We think we might call this plant Figaro. I don't normally name my plants, but this one I am so excited about. And I'm going to take good care, watch it. I have an investment in this plant, right? And any time that we have plants that we put such a big investment in, look at those leaves, they're just so gorgeous. I just love them. We need to just pay attention and see how they're fitting into the environment. So that's it for now. And I thank you. Remember to subscribe, like, all those good things to help our channel get bigger and stronger and bring you more plants, both indoors and outdoors. And one of these days I'll give you a tour of the indoor garden as well.